The twin suns of the world Kalaris cast golden light across the crystal towers of the royal capital. Citizens moved peacefully through floating walkways while transport ships drifted silently overhead. To outsiders, the kingdom seemed untouchable. Yet danger was already approaching. Princess Liara sat in a private garden surrounded by flowering silver vines. Though she was heir to one of the most powerful civilizations in the Orion Arm, she looked less interested in politics than in the history tablet resting in her hands. Across from her sat her tutor. His name was Ethan Ward. Most people saw Ethan as nothing remarkable. He was human, tall but unassuming, usually dressed in simple civilian clothing. His dark hair was beginning to show streaks of gray, and his calm demeanor made him seem more scholar than warrior. For 3 years, he had served as Liara's tutor. He taught galactic history, mathematics, diplomacy, and Earth literature. He never raised his voice. He never demanded respect. And because of that, everyone underestimated him. Human civilizations fought wars over water. Liara asked. Ethan smiled. Among other things. That sounds ridiculous. It was. The princess laughed. Ethan enjoyed hearing that laugh. Since arriving at the palace, Liara had become almost like family to him. She was curious, kind, and far more intelligent than many politicians twice her age. The royal family trusted Ethan completely. What nobody knew was why. Only the king and queen possessed access to Ethan's sealed military records. Records buried so deeply that even intelligence agencies couldn't access them. Records describing a man who once carried the title. Ghost 1. The deadliest special operations soldier humanity had ever produced. A title Ethan hoped never to hear again. His violent years were behind him. Or so he believed. A palace alarm suddenly shattered the peaceful afternoon. Red lights flashed. Security drones activated instantly. The garden trembled. Ethan stood. His eyes narrowed. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. Stay behind me, he said quietly. Liara looked confused. What's happening? The answer arrived seconds later. An explosion erupted nearby. A section of the palace wall vanished in fire. Screams echoed through the royal grounds. Black armored dropships descended from the sky. Mercenaries. Dozens of them. Professional soldiers. Not pirates. Not rebels. Experts. Palace guards rushed to intercept them. They died almost immediately. The attackers moved with terrifying efficiency. They're heading here, Ethan said. Liara's face turned pale. Why? Because they're not attacking the palace. His expression hardened. They're attacking you. The first mercenary squad burst into the garden. Pulse rifles raised. The lead soldier pointed at the princess. Target confirmed. Ethan stepped forward. Run. Liara hesitated. What about you? His voice became cold. Run. Something in his tone frightened her more than the attackers. She obeyed. The princess fled toward a hidden evacuation tunnel. The mercenaries opened fire. Ethan moved. The first soldier barely saw him. One moment Ethan stood 10 meters away. The next moment he was directly in front of him. A palm strike shattered the mercenary's throat. The second attacker tried turning his rifle. Too slow. Ethan ripped the weapon away and smashed it into the soldier's helmet. Bone cracked. The third died before firing a shot. Within seconds, 3 elite mercenaries lay dead. The remaining attackers froze. Human. One of them shouted. Ethan's eyes remained emotionless. Wrong target. Then he disappeared into motion. The fight lasted less than 15 seconds. When it ended, 8 mercenaries covered the ground. None survived. Ethan looked toward the evacuation tunnel. Liara was gone. Good. Then another explosion rocked the palace. His communicator activated. A security officer appeared. Blood covered the alien's face. Mr. Ward. What happened? The princess. The officer hesitated. Fear filled his eyes. They took her. Silence followed. For a moment Ethan didn't move. Didn't speak. Didn't breathe. The officer continued. A second team intercepted the evacuation route. They've escaped orbit. Royal fleets are pursuing. Ethan slowly closed his eyes. 3 years. 3 peaceful years. 3 years pretending the old man was gone. Now someone had stolen the closest thing he had to a daughter. When Ethan opened his eyes again, Ghost 1 had returned. The security officer visibly flinched. The human before him no longer looked like a tutor. He looked like death. Identify the attackers. We're still trying. Stop trying. The officer swallowed. What? Ethan turned and began walking. Find me a ship. Mr. Ward. That wasn't a request. For the first time, the officer understood why the royal family trusted this human. The palace archives contained a warning attached to Ethan's file. A warning written by humanity's military command itself. If Ghost 1 returns to active status, pray he remains on your side. Hours later, inside a hidden royal hangar, Ethan stood before an ancient black starship. Most people would have mistaken it for scrap. But it wasn't. The vessel was a war machine. One built specifically for a single operator. His operator. The ship's systems activated. A familiar artificial intelligence greeted him. Welcome back, Commander Ward. Ethan sat in the pilot's seat. Track the kidnappers. Confirmed. The AI paused. Combat protocols? Ethan stared into the darkness of space. A memory surfaced. Liara laughing over some terrible Earth joke. Liara asking endless questions. Liara proudly presenting her diplomatic essays. Then he imagined her terrified. Alone. Captured. Something cold settled inside him. Yes. The AI processed the answer. All combat restrictions removed. Engines ignited. The black ship launched into the stars. Across the galaxy, hundreds of mercenaries celebrated the successful kidnapping of a princess. None of them realized a far greater mistake had been made. They thought they had captured royalty. In reality, they had declared war on the only human monster who had ever terrified humanity itself. And Ethan Ward was coming for them. The mercenary flagship Iron Vulture drifted through deep space beyond the outer trade routes. Hidden among a dense asteroid field, it was nearly impossible to detect. Inside a reinforced detention chamber, Princess Liara sat with her hands restrained by energy cuffs. Fear lingered in her eyes, but she refused to cry. The mercenary commander, a massive reptilian alien named Varkos, watched her from outside the cell. You're worth a fortune, princess. Liara glared at him. My family will find me. Varkos laughed. They're trying. One of his officers approached. Commander, royal fleets have lost our trail. Excellent. The officer hesitated. There is one problem. Varkos frowned. What? The human. The commander laughed again. The tutor? Reports say he killed 2 squads alone. Varkos waved dismissively. So what? His one human. Neither of them noticed Liara's expression. For the first time since her capture, she looked hopeful. Because she knew Ethan. And she knew something these mercenaries did not. Ethan Ward was never just a tutor. 3 systems away, Ethan's black ship emerged from hyperspace. The AI projected dozens of star maps. Tracking completed. Ethan leaned forward. Location. A red marker appeared. The kidnappers are hiding in the Carthos belt. Ethan nodded. Prepare assault protocols. Confirmed. The AI paused. Probability of survival for enemy forces, 0.7%. Ethan showed no reaction. The ship accelerated. Hours later, the asteroid field came into view. Hundreds of rocks floated through darkness. Hidden among them sat the Iron Vulture. The mercenaries believed themselves safe. Then their sensors detected something. A single ship. Approaching directly. No fleet. No escorts. Just one vessel. The bridge crew laughed. Is that the human? It has to be. He's insane. Varkos smiled. Destroy him. Missiles launched. 30 of them. Enough firepower to vaporize a cruiser. Ethan's ship didn't evade. It accelerated. The AI spoke calmly. Incoming missiles. I see them. The black vessel suddenly split its engine signature. Electronic warfare systems erupted. Half the missiles lost lock immediately. The others exploded before reaching him. The mercenary bridge fell silent. What? Ethan entered weapons range. Fire. A beam of blue light crossed space. One enemy frigate vanished instantly. Not damaged. Gone. The bridge crew stared in horror. How is that possible? Another shot. A second escort ship exploded. Then a third. Panic spread. The human vessel continued advancing. Like a predator entering a herd. Varkos stood. Launch fighters. Hundreds of attack craft swarmed outward. The asteroid field filled with weapons fire. Ethan's expression never changed. The AI calculated trajectories. Enemy fighters exploded one after another. Within minutes, wreckage drifted everywhere. The remaining pilots fled. For the first time, mercenaries began abandoning their posts. Because they realized something terrifying. This wasn't a rescue mission. It was a hunt. And they were the prey. Deep inside the ship, Liara felt the vibration of distant explosions. A guard checked sensors. His face turned pale. What is happening? Another guard looked at battlefield reports. Then his eyes widened. The human. The first guard laughed nervously. What about him? He destroyed half the fleet. Silence. Then another explosion shook the vessel. The guards exchanged terrified looks. Liara smiled slightly. Ethan found me. Meanwhile, Ethan's ship breached the flagship's defenses. The Iron Vulture attempted emergency jumps. Failed. Its engines exploded under precision fire. The giant vessel drifted helplessly. Boarding alarms sounded. Varkos roared. Prepare defenses. Thousands of mercenaries rushed into combat positions. Heavy weapons deployed. Automated turrets activated. The commander looked at his soldiers. It is one human. Nobody looked convinced. Moments later, a section of the hull exploded inward. Smoke filled the corridor. A lone figure stepped through the breach. Black combat armor. Combat knife. Pulse rifle. Ghost 1. The first mercenary opened fire. He died instantly. Then the slaughter began. The corridor became a battlefield. Mercenaries fired from every direction. Energy bolts illuminated the darkness. Ethan advanced through the storm. Every shot he fired found a target. Every movement was efficient. Precise. Merciless. Bodies accumulated behind him. A squad attempted an ambush from a side passage. Ethan threw a grenade without looking. The explosion erased them. Another team charged. Combat blades drawn. The fight lasted 6 seconds. 6 mercenaries died. The 7th dropped his weapon. Please. Ethan knocked him unconscious. He wasn't here for revenge. He was here for Liara. Everything else was merely an obstacle. The ship's internal security network activated. Hundreds of automated turrets emerged. Target locked. Fire. The corridor filled with energy blasts. Ethan dove behind cover. The AI spoke through his helmet. 72 turrets. Disable them. Working. 3 seconds later every turret turned. And opened fire on the mercenaries instead. Screams echoed throughout the ship. Ethan continued moving. Floor after floor. Deck after deck. The body count rose. Word spread rapidly. Ghost 1. The name appeared in old military databases. Mercenaries who recognized it turned pale. Some began surrendering. Others fled. None escaped. On the bridge, Commander Varkos watched security feeds. Entire platoons disappeared. The human never slowed. Never hesitated. Never missed. Impossible. An officer shook with fear. Commander, he's heading here. Varkos slammed his fist into a console. Send everyone. Every remaining mercenary mobilized. More than 600 fighters. Heavy armor. Elite veterans. The best money could buy. They formed a defensive line outside the bridge. Then Ethan arrived. The battle lasted 9 minutes. When it ended, the hallway looked like a war zone. Not one mercenary remained standing. The survivors threw down their weapons. The human walked past them. Toward the bridge. Toward Varkos, the bridge doors exploded inward. Smoke drifted through the room. Commander Varkos stood waiting in powered armor. Massive plasma cannons mounted on both arms. Human. Ethan entered silently. Varkos snarled. You killed hundreds. You kidnapped Liara. The commander laughed. She's valuable. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. For the first time, Ethan looked angry. Not cold. Not focused. Angry. Every instinct in Varkos screamed danger. He ignored it. A mistake. The commander opened fire. Plasma blasts tore through the bridge. Ethan vanished behind debris. Varkos fired again. And again. Then something landed beside him. A grenade. His eyes widened. Boom. The explosion damaged his armor. Ethan emerged from the smoke. The fight became brutal. Varkos swung massive mechanical fists. Ethan dodged. Countered. Struck weak points. Armor plates shattered. Systems failed. The commander roared. You are just a tutor. Ethan slammed him into a wall. The bridge cracked. No. A punch. I was trying. Another punch. To be one. The final strike destroyed the armor completely. Varkos collapsed. Defeated. Broken. Terrified. Ethan grabbed him. Where is she? The commander immediately answered. Detention Block 7. Ethan released him. Security forces arriving behind him arrested the mercenary leader. Varkos watched in horror as Ethan walked away. The human had defeated an entire army. For one girl, Detention Block 7. The cell doors opened. Liara looked up. Ethan? He stood in the doorway. Armor damaged. Covered in soot. But alive. The princess ran forward and hugged him. For a moment, Ghost 1 disappeared. Ethan gently returned the embrace. Are you hurt? She shook her head. No. Relief flooded his face. The same expression she remembered from countless lessons. Not a soldier. Not a killer. Just Ethan. You came. He smiled slightly. Of course. Days later, the royal capital celebrated her return. Across the galaxy, news channels reported the destruction of the mercenary fleet. Entire criminal organizations vanished overnight. Many surrendered immediately. Others fled beyond known space. None wanted Ghost 1 hunting them next. Inside the royal palace, the king addressed Ethan personally. You saved my daughter. Ethan nodded. I promised I would protect her. The queen smiled. And you kept that promise. Later that evening, Liara found Ethan sitting alone in the garden where everything had begun. Twin suns painted the sky gold. The same peaceful place. The same bench. The same teacher. She sat beside him. The galaxy thinks you're a hero. Ethan laughed softly. The galaxy doesn't know me. I do. He looked at her. The princess smiled. You crossed half the galaxy for me. You needed help. Most people wouldn't. Ethan stared toward the sunset. Most people aren't family. Liara's eyes widened. Then she smiled. A genuine smile. For the first time since her rescue, everything felt normal again. The war was over. The mercenaries were defeated. And Ghost 1 could finally rest. Because the person he had fought to protect was safe. Far away, hidden in forgotten corners of the galaxy, criminals whispered a new warning. Never touch the alien princess. Because her human tutor is far more dangerous than any army.